Hello and welcome to the Daily Lawyer Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Jenna Krishnan. I'm your host. And in today's podcast, we're actually kicking off a new series, which I'm very excited about. And we're calling it The Daily Stories. A lot of you may know that the Daily Lawyer platform was begun to educate and empower people with relevant legal information to safeguard them from the thunderstorms of business and life, so that when rainy day hits, because of the TDL umbrella, you know how to respond or even whom to contact or where to go for such information. Towards this end, I started the Daily Lawyer podcast. And while we've had a lot of interviews on the podcast, most of the interviews have been focused with lawyers and towards lawyers or law students. I realized that it is important to bring business owners on the podcast for them to talk about their journeys in the business and their experiences with various situations that led them to understand the importance of having their documentation right or the correct legal advice or a legal team and all of these questions, because specifically in India, but also in many other places abroad, we don't think it is important to go to a lawyer unless we have a problem. It's only when, pardon my language, when shit hits the fan is when we want to go to a lawyer, and we believe that the lawyer's job is just to clean up all of the mess. While I don't disagree, yes, that is part of the job. It will benefit all of us as business owners or as people to understand our risks much in advance so that the problem doesn't take place at all. It is towards this end that I started the Daily Stories series, and I'm so happy to welcome my first guest on the series. I'm so happy to welcome Mr. Aditya Iyer. He is the co-founder of NeoTrader. As a side note, NeoTrader is an absolutely fantastic, one-of-its-kind software for trading in the stock markets. At the moment, it is confined to Indian markets. This video is not sponsored by NeoTrader, but I am a personal user of it. I love it, and I'm just talking about it. Aditya Iyer is an MBA. He is a CMT, so he's a member of the Chartered Market Technicians fraternity as well. For 5 years, he worked as an equity research in a large financial services company before he made the transition into entrepreneurship and co-founded NeoTrader along with his amazing other co-founder who is a trainer in the stock markets and all of that good stuff. So in the last 2 years of the pandemic, Aditya's firm has really seen a lot of changes, a lot of growth. And I thought he will be the best person to come on because I have also worked with him. So I know, all of the challenges that he faced, or he, as in the founder of the company, faced. And what he did to overcome, what are the kind of processes that he put in place. So I thought he will be the best person to sort of kick off this series. And I'd love for him to talk about the breadth of the experience that he has garnered in the last 2 years. So Aditya, welcome to the Daily Lawyer Podcast.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for that wonderful introduction.
Most welcome. I meant everything that I said. You've had a pretty meteoric rise in the last 2 years, but that has not come without its fair share of challenges. And because I have been on the inside of those challenges, I really appreciate what it took for you to handle those challenges and and how you continue to manage all of the small and big problems that is coming your way. So you are truly a representation of these thunderstorms that we say in business and life and how you've weathered it in the last 2 years. So just very quickly, I want to, in your words, if you can tell the audience briefly, what do you do for a living? What is your company called? Where are you located?
First of all, thank you so much for inviting me to this podcast. I'm truly honored to be a guest in this podcast, let alone be your first guest. So yes, thank you so much. And I think you've done a pretty good job of covering what we do at NeoTrader. But to sum it up, all I'll say is that we help anyone and everyone make money in the stock market using our software called NeoTrader. We train people in the field of technical analysis, and we also advise and manage people's money in the stock market. So all in all, we are 100% stock market focused company, a stock market focused firm. We are a young company, and we are growing, and we are, uh, learning the ropes of business, and also, trying to face all the challenges that come along with that.
Yes, well said. And also, just to clarify, at the moment you're focused on the Indian stock markets and
Yes.
mostly on the equities and
Yes,
futures side.
yeah, we're located in Bombay, and we are a domestic focused company. So yes, all our operations right now is uh, centered around the Indian stock market,
Yeah.
and we help people trade in the market.
That's true though, because I am speaking as a user of NeoTrader because I do use the software in my personal capacity. So I can vouch for its efficacy because I haven't really lost money in the way the markets are swung from up to down. And I genuinely have not lost money. But I mean, I haven't lost money on an average, not on a daily basis. Sometimes you do.
I would congratulate you for that, and
Yeah.
and I'm sure a lot of that, you know, uh, like should be accredited to you and your process and your investment
Yeah, but
decision.
I just followed the signals. Like the only thing I did was being disciplined and following the signals. I didn't use my brain. So for someone like me, it was perfect because it gives me just enough information to trade and I don't have to use my brain.
That's
So,
wonderful. Wonderful. Keep it
but
up.
thanks. Now, Aditya, I know you, so I know how anal you are about documentation. Because I am the one who's doing your documentation, and I know how much
Yeah.
you call me and say, "Oh, I need the answer. I need you to tell me this by the end of day," and so on. But I and being in the industry for a while, I know that this is not common, right? Most
Yeah.
business owners do not, especially somebody who's a startup founder, and you are a young startup founder, especially someone like you are. People are not that anal about documentation. So what is it that made you believe that documentation is so important, and why do you think, how has it helped you, why do you think it is so important rather?
Like prevention is better than cure, right? And
It's true,
like,
yeah.
okay, let me put it this way. I myself come from the stock market. I myself am a stock market trader. I myself mentor people in the field of in the field of trading. And one thing that I've always, that we sort of tell people to do in the market is have a stop loss, right? So when we trade, and if the stock that we are trading goes against our favor, we put a stop loss. So that sort of covers our downside, right? If you're going to, and that's the same principle we apply in our business as well. So having proper legal documentation and having contracts in place, and complying with all the necessary regulations, may it be SEBI regulations or may it be the normal business regulations, is like our way of applying a stop loss in our business. So if in case anything goes wrong, our downside is covered. Does not mean that something might go wrong, but like if at all, something happens, like we are safe and we are always like on the right side of the law.
That's true. I love the way you gave the stop loss analogy. I don't think I could have put it better myself because it is very, very true. And I'm one of my biggest aims through the Daily Lawyer platform is to get this information and this sort of thinking to more people in the world, especially in our country, that it's nothing but a stop loss. It's a risk mitigation
Yeah.
strategy. So that's fantastic. I'm going to quote you on this. Actually, I'm going to take this and quote you on this. I don't know,
Be
in one
my
of our,
guest.
yeah. But Aditya, as a business owner, what would you say are your top priority items
I
as a
think any
startup
business
founder?
owner, okay, any business owner, okay. Let me not talk about any business owner. Let me just talk about myself. First thing is revenue, right? That's the first priority, is ensuring that the revenue is flowing in the company, and because that's the lifeblood. Because with that's what keeps everything moving. The next thing would be to sort of strategize and come up with growth initiatives, growth strategies, and ensure that it's getting implemented. And of course, the third thing, and I think this is the most important thing, would be to have a proper review mechanism, would be to have proper systems and processes, and have a very robust way to review that and ensure that whatever you've planned and whatever you're sort of set out to do, that's happening smoothly, and that's happening in a diligent manner.
That's actually a very good answer, I must say. And I think a lot of business owners, including myself, because today I am a business owner from being just a lawyer, I can totally relate. But how do you factor risk mitigation in this? Like, how do you, because you did speak about stop loss,
Yeah.
and because I know you, I know that that is also a very crucial item in your sort of priority
Mhm.
list. But how do you factor risk mitigation? You're talking to somebody who's coming to you and asking you, listen, I'm just about to start my business, what are things I need to focus on? Yes, you gave 1 2 3, but would you want to tell them about strategies for risk mitigation? What should you do, and what do you have to say about that?
I think it's just have the don't try to do everything by yourself, especially when it comes to managing risk. you know Try to meet as many people as you can, and try to hire some professionals who can do that work for you. So that is what I would say, because it's a very, very important facet of your business,
True.
something that you cannot ignore,
Yeah.
and something that not all of us are, formally educated or qualified to sort of do.
Yeah.
So it's best to sort of hire someone who can do that work for you, and who can sort of advise you along the way
Yeah.
on what is right and what is wrong, and sort of
Yeah.
implement that.
Yeah, that's actually a good answer. Again, you're giving me a lot of quotable quotes. So I'll probably quote you on this as well. Now, do you have any instance, maybe in your life or maybe in the life of somebody that you know, but you know firsthand, that you or this person suffered any kind of loss? Because it can be any kind of loss, can be reputational, financial, some random criminal complaint that was put on them, piracy, anything. uh, and with just a little bit of information, or the on legal information, just a little bit of information, they could have, or you could have, made had made a better decision. It wouldn't have reached this point, let's just say. Do you have anything like that that you can share?
See, I myself work in a B2C sort of business in the stock market. That's a heavily regulated area, that has so many regulatory bodies watching over. So people can go and complain to any SEBI or the NSE or BSE, and tomorrow you could get a circular and all of these things, right? So yes, I have, I myself have been subject to certain times in my business where, because I didn't write one line
Hmm.
on my company website disclaimer, I was I had
Yeah.
to face some consequences for
Yeah.
that, like for something as simple as that.
Yeah.
And
But are you
yeah, and
comfortable, Aditya? I think a lot of people uh, may relate to this particular thing that you said.
yeah.
So, can you expand a little bit when you say that? Oh, first, I did not write one line. Uh, no, without like, I'm not going to ask you too many details, which you may not want to
Yeah.
give. But just to explain to somebody, what do you mean by that one line, and uh, what was the general context of this complaint?
No, like like in general, you have your business terms, like whether like payment terms, refund terms, and in case and in the case for us in the stock market, you have a lot of terms prescribed by the regulator, where you can't promise X amount of returns, or you cannot write so and so things on your website. If you have a SEBI registration, it needs to be here on your website. It should not
Hmm.
be on the top, it should be on the bottom, it should
Hmm.
be somewhere where it's visible, and all of these things.
Hmm.
So these are small, minute things that
Correct.
get lost in 100-page circulars.
Yeah.
It's not humanly possible for every person starting a business to sit and read the circular and go and cross check.
Yes.
But legal experts are aware of this, and they are aware of the loopholes. So like initially when I was starting out, because I did not have I think I had placed my SEBI registration number on the wrong page of the website.
Hmm.
It was supposed to be on the
Home
first fold
page.
of the homepage, and I think I put it somewhere else, and I had to face some consequences of that.
Hmm.
It's something really small. It may
Yeah.
sound stupid.
Yeah.
I am registered. I have all of the paperwork in place, but
Yeah.
that can sort of
Yeah.
bite you back one day.
Yeah.
And the redressal mechanism to sort of make that okay
Hmm.
is going to be really painful.
Yeah.
It's not like you just call and you just change it, and it goes. You need to like send emails, send letters, go to the office, wait, wait for your turn, and then you go and you meet those officials. And it's not a very,
Yeah.
it's time consuming,
Yeah.
it's taxing, it's boring, and it just sucks the energy out of you.
Absolutely.
So post that, I think we ensured that we have documentation, we have contracts, we have all the necessary disclaimers in place on
Yeah.
our websites.
Yeah.
There have also been times when we also deal with a lot of big being a small company in an industry like the stock
Yeah.
market. You end up having to tie up with these large financial institutions and these large brokers um, who are giants.
Yeah.
So they can sort of
Dictate
throw
their terms.
contracts at you, and they'll
Yeah.
very casually ask you to sign it.
Yeah.
And in the fine print, you will have some really absurd terms that
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
that can literally sort of stake you out
I know.
and sort of put them in a very, very
Uh,
beneficial spot.
Comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, so having a legal expert on board, having
Yeah.
someone like you vetting our contracts, has sort of helped us
Yeah.
avoid such one-sided and
Yeah. I
frank. Yeah,
distinctly remember this one of these situations where
yeah,
you brought me in on the call because I
yes,
think both me and the other side's legal, we were not able to agree. I was
yeah,
not willing to allow you to sign the
yeah,
document, and it was a very lucrative offer for you. And this
yeah.
was a good 2 years ago. So the company was even smaller than what it was now.
And
And it was a very lucrative offer, and you really wanted
yeah,
it because it would have
yes,
really sort of set you up quickly on the path of if
yeah,
everything would have gone well. But I simply could not accept the level of risk that you were exposing yourself to, and I really credit you for agreeing with me or having faith in my advice to sort of say no. And basically we lost that contract, right? We
yeah,
lost the work did not come to us. We had to walk away from the table after everything, commercials had been agreed, but we had to walk away from the table. So I know it was really hard, but I credit you for really sticking to your principles. It's not easy at all, especially when the offer is that lucrative,
yeah,
and the upside is so much that you can see.
yeah.
So I have seen you through that one, at least couple, but this one was the most lucrative. So I have seen you
Mhm.
through that. And I'm specifically mentioning it because a lot of us will be in that position and we'll be like, kya hone wala hai? What is going to happen? It's not going to happen to me. I trust this guy, I trust that guy, he's a good guy. he will not let that happen. But we have to understand that when we deal with companies, that guy may not be there in that company any longer, or things may change. So please look at your interest, not selfishly, as in don't discard the other person's interest, don't discard commercial interest, work towards a solution for sure, but not stupidly. Okay. I think you have alluded to this in and through the through our conversation, but I just want to ask you this question one more time. uh, do you believe and do you think that it is important for a startup founder to have a legal team, and if yes, then when would you hire this legal help?
I think if you can do it and if you can afford to do it, you should do it on day one. Uh, and if not day one, I'd say do it ASAP whenever you can. But even if you don't say have an in-house legal team, you can always, seek the expert
On a case to
opinion
case
of,
basis. Yeah.
from legal practitioners. There are
Yeah.
so many legal counsels, legal agencies,
Yeah.
so many lawyers that
Sure.
can help you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So start
I
from
think
day one.
it's day one. It's non-negotiable according
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
And especially if you are working in a regulated market and in a regulated industry, um, then you better do it as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Don't wait. Don't waste a second.
Yeah. And a lot of people go to CAs. Those CAs are very, very important, and they do bring a different kind of expertise to the table. But a lot of people only go to a CA when they are starting a business, and they don't go to a lawyer at all. So I want to just clarify with you, do you believe that we have to do both CA and lawyer at the beginning? Just like how you go to a CA, you don't have an in-house CA. You go to a professional who does it for you.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes. See, because I think CA can only help you sort of set up your business and structure the business and the organizational chart and
Tax. Yeah.
the organization structure in a way that it saves you maximum amount of tax.
Yeah.
Right. That's all.
Yeah.
The
And
most tax
and
efficient
automate.
structure is what they can suggest.
Yeah. And automate and
And
manage your tax payments and other compliance basically.
right. So
But
basically, it's more of taking care of the accounting part of it,
yeah.
the tax angle,
Yeah.
and the business structuring angle, right?
Yeah.
But it still leaves you completely exposed
Yeah.
to the law pertaining to your domain and your industry.
Yeah.
Right?
And
The
also
CAs,
the contractual obligations as well, right?
yes,
Yeah. The
exactly.
risk.
Like going back to the contract
Yeah.
that we were doing with that company,
Yeah.
you know, I don't think a CA or any CA would have
Yeah.
been competent enough to sort of,
Yeah.
um, help us with that. Or maybe complying with SEBI laws and SEBI regulations. Your CA is not going to sort of help you do all of that.
Probably not. Yeah. Not every CA. Let's just put it that
Not
way.
every CA.
Maybe some for sure, because there is a lot of overlap between our professions. Okay, Aditya, this is the last question to close out this segment. What would you say are the main pain points that you are facing in your business today, the way your business stands today, from a legal compliance, strategy, growth perspective?
I think the when it comes to legal compliance, the main pain point is that a circular comes and then you need to start figuring out how to comply with it. You don't, since you yourself are not an expert in the law, you don't know how to sort of get your way around that and how to comply, right? And second thing is that when you go and when you sort of meet someone and you decide to do business with somebody, if you're not skilled in making contracts yourself, you have no option but to accept the contract they send you. And skimming through that and understanding the nitty gritties and understanding the fine print sometimes becomes a challenge, and you can get caught on the wrong side. So that is the, and of course the third challenge is scaling up, which is the most common challenge. Everyone wants to scale up. Even we want to scale up, and we want to scale up really fast. And while all the focus is in doing that, we many times tend to overlook all of these finer aspects, and we're like, let's see it later on. And
Yeah,
it
perfect.
comes to bite you in the back one day.
Yeah, well said. What about, I know that you are hiring a lot, right? And you've had a little bit of challenges also when it comes to finding the right person,
Yeah.
or you've had some challenges even when when you have let go of people. I could you talk a little bit about your experience with that, with the hiring and firing aspect, is from a point of view of having processes and policies in place? Because when you did not have processes and policies, you had some issues, leaving employees, they were saying, oh, I deserve this also, or I deserve this also, and you were like, no, you don't deserve this, so what do you have to say for that, especially in a startup kind of environment?
Yeah, like in the beginning, it's more or less all hands on deck, so you don't really think about all of this stuff. But I think I was fortunate enough to get these templates, pre-made templates from you. So
Yeah,
I think we used all of the templates for you know uh, employment agreements and offer letters and appointment letters. So that made our work pretty easy. And you know
but
that's what I
can
think
you speak about
we
that? I am actually dragging you into speaking about one or two instances that I know before we put the employment
yeah.
agreement in place, because there were instances where you had people leaving and them not returning company property, whatever it was, whatever you had given
Oh
them,
yes,
laptop,
yes,
mobile,
that
nothing
was a
like
big
that.
deal. Oh,
Yeah.
that was a big problem, I would say, in around 2019. And 2020 we had COVID. So 2019 there were a lot of people who were still working, right, from office. 2020 we sort of transitioned to work from office, and we had to,
Work from home, you mean?
yeah, sorry, work from home. And we had to do that in a hurry. We didn't have time. And at that time we just did what we have to do. We sort of send computers to our employees. We send mobile phones, everything, printers and all sort of hardware.
Yeah.
A lot of the software that we use, we had to compromise a lot of our uh, private
Got it.
information,
Yeah.
passwords and all of that, in the interest of faster work and better coordination and all of that,
Absolutely. Yeah.
right? And yeah, I would say that that didn't really work out too well for us when some of those employees either quit or were had to let go. Some of them didn't return the items. Some of our passwords were compromised.
Yeah, yeah, I
That
remember
created
that. And
a lot of
I remember
security
you
issues.
calling me about this and
Yeah,
saying, what do I do? Like, how do I now make sure that this
yeah.
doesn't happen to me again? So I only wanted to highlight this because I'm sure a lot of people would have gone through something like this over the past.
And of course, I forgot to mention data, especially a lot of our data also
Yeah,
stood, because we did not have that much time to sort of transition online in a very,
yeah, smooth and
professional manner, as
secure
you say.
way. Yeah,
Yeah, like setting up everything,
yeah,
complete remote working infrastructure. That eventually happened, but
yeah,
that took a while for all
yeah,
of that to come in place. So
yeah,
in that transitionary phase, I think we lost a lot of data. We
yeah,
ended up exposing a lot of private and sensitive information about our company to our employees. And many of them should not have had access to that level of
yeah,
intent,
information.
but and information, but
You could not help
anyhow,
it.
that we could
Yeah,
not help.
yeah. And I can
But
just imagine the level
thank
of,
God, yeah,
yeah,
in hindsight, um, all
nothing
of them
happened.
were very professional about it. All of
Yeah,
them were very, like,
yeah,
understanding, and no
yeah,
one really did anything wrong. But yeah, we were at a risk.
yeah. And I know that you recognize the risk, and then we put in place. we put in some provisions. I mean, we put in some systems in place, but yeah, the damage had already been done, in the sense that you had already exposed yourself to that risk.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad you were very forthcoming about your experience, because I think it's very relevant to, I'm sure a lot of people may also relate to it. Now we are done with the main segment of the podcast, but I do this fun segment only for myself, because I enjoy asking these questions and learning from. So it's called 5 4 3 2 1. I ask you 5 of something, 4 of something, 3 of something, whatever. So 5 productivity tips that you'd like to share.
5 productivity tips. That should have been in 1 or 2. 5 is too much. Okay, how do I come up with 5 now? Okay, I think the first one would be journaling.
Yeah.
Daily journaling, and like writing down what you think and what you think. So there are various ways of journaling. There are so many apps, but I still prefer those nice big hardbound
Notebooks.
journals that you can write on. Yeah, it
Yeah.
feels nice.
Yeah.
Then the next thing I would say is a second hack would be uh would be having a to do list app. So
Yeah.
basically like a task manager.
Yeah.
So where you can collaborate with other people who are in your team, and you can sit together, discuss something, and say, okay, this is what we need to do. This is what you're doing, you are doing, and you are doing, and I'm doing. And we just put it into our task manager, and we set reminders, we set deadlines, and it sort of sends
Yeah.
notifications out to everyone, and everyone knows what they're supposed to do. And
Yeah.
you end up sticking. So many times I have, only done work that I would have like otherwise forgotten or procrastinated with if I'd not gotten that email from
Yeah.
my task manager saying this is due,
Yeah.
a reminder, and all of these things. So that really helps.
Yeah. What are you comfortable sharing? What task
Yeah.
manager?
So I use like a CRM called HubSpot.
Okay.
And within HubSpot, you have task management inbuilt, so you can use that.
Yeah.
For emailing, I use a lot of Zoho products.
Okay.
So once you get into any product in that Zoho
Sweet.
ecosystem, like Zoho
Yeah.
Mail is something we use. It
Yeah.
comes along with all of these things like project management, tasks, reminders, calendars. All of these things are inbuilt. Even in your normal email or Gmail or all of these things, you have you have all of these inbuilt. So that's what we use, and that
So
to go
do you
about
have
my
any
work.
other hacks to share, or it's just 2 productivity hacks that you want to
I
talk
think I think this answer went long enough. We can
about?
jump into the next
The
one.
next
Yeah.
question. Okay.
Uh,
4 books that you would recommend.
See, I'm not so big on reading books. I'm, I am a sort of person who gets all my learning by uh, taking courses and watching videos of people, or who are knowledgeable in my field or in a field like that. And that's what I do. I think that today there is this big boom in online courses, in e-learning. Every person in every niche, you have online coaches, you have like recorded programs that you can take and watch at your own pace. And I think I'm a big stickler for that. I think the ed tech is replacing books
Books for you,
very
is it?
soon.
I'm not, I don't
Yeah.
agree with you on that,
Yeah.
because I'm still a book
Yeah.
person, but I see how it is very useful.
Yeah.
And okay, three pieces of advice that you would want to give uh, a young graduate or a young professional, let's say a student or a young
Someone
professional,
who's in school, someone who's in school or college or
someone who's in
yeah.
college, just getting ready to get out into the professional
Oh,
world, or someone
okay.
who's just sort of graduated.
I think for someone who's in school or someone who's in college, the only thing that I would want to say is that everything you learned in school or college is going to get disrupted or become obsolete very soon. So don't think that since you've gone through school, you've done it well, your learning ends there. Be a lifelong learner and keep upskilling yourself and keep trying to learn new things every day. Uh, and for someone who maybe didn't do well in school, I'd say don't worry about that, because anyway, what you were studying is going to become irrelevant anyway after some time. Huh? So you are going to get a chance to reinvent yourself. So grab that with both hands, reinvent yourself, pick up new skills. And, I think the earlier uh, time that, of the past 15, 20 years, it was all about having knowledge and being knowledgeable. But I think in today's day and age, like information knowledge is like commoditized. It is everywhere. It is information overload. Skills and actually doing the work is what is going to set you apart. So the more skills you have, the more uh, the more useful and the more successful you may become. And information, of course, like information is available now at the tip of the finger. It's not a novelty anymore.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
good answer. I liked your answer. Okay, 2 life lessons that you have learned.
I'm not the one to give out life lessons. I think you're far better at that subject and at
No, I mean like
articulating such stuff. So I'll pass on that. I'll leave it to you to share
to
the life lessons.
to share. No, but what are your
Huh?
life lessons? Something that you have learned so far in your life, like for example, you said that you learned everything that we studied in school is anyway obsolete, or it's getting obsolete soon.
Yeah.
So something, what have you learned that through your experiences in life that
I think in my experience, I'll not say in my all my life, but something that I've experienced after working recently is that your talent or your capability and your all of that is overrated right now. Like the only thing the only thing that is going to sort of take you ahead is execution and how well you can execute. So yeah.
I must say, uh, and it's very true. No matter what,
Yeah.
we give a lot of importance to talent, and knowledge and information and
Yeah.
your pedigree, but all that becomes irrelevant if you don't execute. So very
Yeah.
well said. And the last question to close out our podcast: what is the best piece of advice that you have ever received?
I
One,
just say the best piece of advice that I've learned was, the funny part is that it's something that, you know, I I just read this on online somewhere. It just popped up and it's related to what I told earlier on implementation.
yeah,
I saw this image that had this thing. It said talent dot 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 cheap.
yeah,
Um, inspiration, like
uh,
inspiration,
yeah,
motivated inspiration dot 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 cheap,
yeah,
and execution
yeah,
dot 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 expensive.
yeah,
No? So that
yeah,
really got me thinking, and that was
yeah,
something that really got me
yeah.
moving.
But that's
I don't remember who put it up or what it was. It just something that randomly flashed, and is something I really resonated with.
yeah.
No?
That's true. But Aditya, thank you so much. Your answers were brilliant, and I'm waiting to release this podcast and then also get more guests to speak about their experiences as candidly and as eloquently as you spoke. So thank you for giving me your time, and thank you for being on the Daily Lawyer podcast. Uh,
Thank you so much for inviting me.
do you
And
want?
you've been very kind with your words. Yeah.
Oh, most welcome. Do you
Yeah.
want to tell people where they can find you? Anything? Feel free.
Yes, you can visit our website called neotrader.in. That is neotrader.in. And all our social media handles, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, is on the same name, neotrader.in. So if you can look us up across all social media platforms. You can follow me personally as well on Twitter. You can just go and write my name, Aditya Iyer 89, and you can follow me on Twitter and LinkedIn as well.
Okay.
And
So we'll make sure to leave all of these handles in the show notes. So it'll make it easier for everybody to follow you. But thank you so much. I hope to see you soon. Keep doing all the good work that you're doing. Thanks, Aditya.
Yes, you're most welcome. Thank